All right. Good design of any kind is a result from a series of actions that follow a process. We like to think of design as a verb rather than a noun. It's an iterative process that synthesizes many disparate objectives through analysis, discussion, and collaboration into a thoughtful whole. Wow. On today's show, we have Kay and Tamara from Kata by Design. So excited to have you.
Glad to be here. Hi, Matt.
Yeah?
Hi, Matt.
Yeah.
All right, this is awesome. So I want to kind of just start unpacking this quote from you guys. I mean, I read it. You guys are very artistic, very poetic, very bespoke. You know, it's pretty cool to see your website and research you guys and do the internet stalking that we do before the show. But going into this, and I'm going to ask questions, and whoever speaks first gets to answer. So tell me who wrote this.
I believe I wrote this, but most of the things that we do really are a collaboration.
Yeah.
We really almost always know what the other one is up to. And so that I think came out of a discussion that we were having about how some people think that design is a thing.
Yeah.
They think it's just a drawing on a paper or like an image that they have of something that they want. But design is really something that comes from a process of trying to pull from somebody, from a site, what's appropriate, what they're asking for,
Yeah.
and working through all the details of that to arrive at that piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's sort of the last piece.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Into a thoughtful whole. You know, it's really well written. I read it and I'm like, I got to read that again, and I'm going to read it out loud. So it's pretty cool. Tell me about Kata by Design.
So, kata is a Japanese word, means form or pattern. So you might have heard kata in karate,
Okay.
martial arts. That's a pattern that's not just a shape, but well thought out. It's a processed shape that it has meaning in it.
Uh-huh.
And then we were thinking about our names, and then it happened to be this, and then we thought, K-A and Ta, T-A is our first name, first part. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit about you guys. We're going to unpack your story, each one of you. So, Kay, what is your architectural journey? What was your influence to get you to the point where you're like, this is what I want to do?
So I studied mathematics in college at CU Boulder.
There you go. Go Buffs.
And then, but when I grew up, I played piano since I was 5, and then I loved drawing and painting and carving and stuff.
Yeah.
I did some photographies. I also wrote some music, songs, and then also classical, composed it on my own, just
Wow.
personally though.
Yeah.
But then my family, my husband and 2 kids, moved out to Berkeley, but then came back here in 1999.
Okay.
And then the house we bought in Louisville
Yes.
had a unfinished basement. And then, so I was just designing something. Basement. The bathroom is usually like always full of cobwebs because nobody uses those bathrooms unless a guest comes over. So I thought, maybe it should be something special. So I made a spa with dry sauna and wet sauna so that we use all the time on our own. And then, so I designed it and then submitted to the city and then got approval. And then, this is so fun. Yeah. And then, so I thought maybe I want to do architecture. So UCD, they had the architectural...
University
of Colorado, Denver.
Yes.
That's the only graduate school level of architecture in the state. And then, so I applied there. And then instead of a GRE, they were asking for portfolio.
Okay.
And then it said, we'd like to see your music composition, your painting, your photography.
Oh,
And I
wow.
thought, oh, I have all of them. So it was an easy process for me to apply, and then
Yeah.
got approved. So
Well, because you're a creative.
I like that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Math was, I don't know why I did that. But
Yeah.
other than regular academic thing, I always loved music and art
Mm-hmm.
and sports.
Yeah. That's awesome. Tamara, what about you?
Yeah.
Tell me how you got started.
Well, I grew up in Boulder. I'm like the fourth generation to live here.
Okay.
And although my dad has lived in New York City for most of my life, so I've sort of been back and forth between a sort of urban center to this sort of, natural setting of Boulder. But I have always been really rooted here because of my family and my friends, really deep connections. I think that I'm really gifted with being able to maintain friendships over a long time. And
The
so
architect of relationships.
I have not left.
Yeah.
And so I ended up staying here. I went to CU Boulder as an undergrad, got a degree in fine arts and in humanities, with an emphasis in sculpture and an emphasis in art history. And really, like, the arts have been, like, a dear to my heart thing for my whole life. And worked, like, in a gallery for a while, but then had always had this interest in building, like what the built environment does to us psychologically. Sort of saw it as an extension of art
Yeah.
and sculpture, and really felt like architecture was a natural sort of progression from what I had already been focused on, and so went to the University of Colorado at Denver
Yeah.
to get my master's degree in architecture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where you two met
Yeah.
originally, right? Mm-hmm. And what, like in a class or small group?
This was about, I don't know, it may have started about 30 people, but the people kept on dropping
Yeah.
out. And then,
We started together.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
started together. And then it was a 3.5-year program because if you had the architecture degree in undergrad, then 2 more years to go. But if you had something else, like she did art, I did math,
Yeah.
then have the programmed as a 3.5-year program.
Okay.
And then we all started together, but I had 2 kids then, and Tamara had a baby, and she got sick a little bit one time, and then, so we were a semester behind, and then 2 of us graduated side by side.
Oh, so fun. That's awesome.
We did. I asked Kay earlier, I was like, do you remember, like, the moment we met each other? And she was like, I don't remember. All I remember is that I was suddenly in your car.
Because we both lived this
Yeah.
area, Boulder area,
Oh, yeah.
and so
We would carpool together, and I don't know why you would get into my car, but it was like a one of the basic model Honda Civics that you had to, like, roll down the windows with your hand, and, like, it had no air conditioning, and it was, like, the most uncomfortable, really, to drive in on the highway. But for some reason, Kay would, like, tolerate.
There you go. Kay got a free ride. Well, to the architect
She
of
had a better
relationships.
car. I don't know
right?
why I was driving.
Oh, that's awesome. So, graduate school, you finish
Yeah.
in architecture, you're still doing life, you got kids, you guys are friends, but you're not working together at this time. What did you do after architectural school?
Well, I worked for 2 different residential architects in Boulder. I first worked for Rex Olson with Olson Studio, and he's unfortunately passed away. He really taught me a lot of the very basics about residential architecture. Mm-hmm. And then I worked for another architect, Reno Barbin, and he really, he was also a licensed structural engineer.
Oh, yeah.
And he had done forensic architecture. And so he was very interested in, I learned a lot from him about structure, about how to keep water out of a building, how to detail things properly, He drew everything by hand.
That's
So I
awesome.
really did a lot of the, sort of digital. We were just a team of two, but he really gave me my sea legs in residential design.
Uh-huh.
And then when I started having my kids, or when they were growing up, I really wanted to spend time with them. Reno actually suffered a heart attack, and he sort of needed to retire. And I didn't want to go work at a firm where I was going to be working like 60 hours a week and away from my kids and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we had another colleague we graduated with who was doing interior design for health and wellness. Lots of hospitals, clinics around Denver, the Denver and in Colorado area. And so she and I sort of paired up. And so for 11 years, I did interior architecture for interior design and interior architecture for health and wellness-based clients. Mm-hmm. And that was really wonderful because I learned about like how to design to promote healing, to promote
less anxiety, going to the doctor.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was also really formulaic. So it was sort of easy for me to sort of like do design and keep that going, and also like, handle all the other responsibilities I had with my kids and my family. And then COVID happened.
Yes. Yeah.
And all of the funding for health and wellness design projects just stopped.
Really?
And the money got transferred into emergency funding for COVID relief. And I sort of sat around wondering what I was going to do for a month or two, like half of the rest of the world. And then went to work for a residential firm again because I always loved residential design. And so that sort of got me back into residential work where I feel the most comfortable, like really love how personal it is.
For me, it's like I get to build a story.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not just like somebody's personal story.
Yeah.
That's what I really like about residential, especially the custom, because we're like, oh, this is pretty amazing that this whole space is designed around this part or this aspect of their lives. Mm-hmm. And it's so fun to like be like, wow, we get to build this. This is so cool. And like we had this one house where the client had her own kimchi, and she made her own kimchi. And the house was actually designed so from the kimchi garden, there was a path in through the garage, a wash station in the garage, into a back kitchen where all the kimchi prep was and all the refrigerators for that, into the main kitchen, but you'd never know it was there. But it was like so cool. I was like, that's thoughtful design, and I love to build things like that because it's just fun, interesting. So
yeah, so personal.
Yeah, I like residential. What about you, Kay? After you graduated?
I started working for bigger companies, and then I did residential there from Aspen to Gypsum at Red Sky area.
Like the big houses, huh? Mm-hmm.
And then did some school project, and then condominiums and stuff like that. Then I moved to another firm in Denver who did hospitality, a lot of them. And then I also did the mixed use, multifamily and stuff too.
Yeah.
So I was managing larger project, and then, but I always love residential. And then when I retire, I really want to take one house at a time as a hobby, but just to build for the site, just that kind of special attention I wanted to pour into. And then I thought, I can't be always doing these big projects because I really have to learn small projects again. So I chose to leave the company, and then found this design build firm, and then where she was.
Yeah.
Why are you there? And then it was so funny that we found each other again. And then because we knew each other, they put us as a team. And I did the architectural part. She did the interior design part. And it worked so well. We just understood each other so well. And then we were so good to communicate with the clients. So it was just we were, in a way, the hero of the farm. Yeah. And then it was hard to leave that place, but we did. it's another story, but
Well, yeah. So what was the final push that took you guys from the firm you were at before, working together, to out on your own to grow your wings?
that's the Marshall Fire.
Yeah.
Yep. So because of the COVID time, so many people were staying home and then wanted to renovate their houses and stuff.
Yeah.
So somehow the design build firm, I thought I had more time, wasn't easy. It was just so fully loaded, and we didn't have a weekend for a year and a half. And then
Wow.
when fire happened, we thought, oh, things are so fragile and unpredictable.
Yeah.
We cannot be always having this work-only lifestyle, but have to pay more attention and put value into our personal life with the families.
Yeah.
So we decided, we're going to just do both work and then personal life. We balance it well.
Yeah.
That's how we started.
Yeah. And so when you guys came together, what was your very first project as Kata by Design?
Well, we did try to close out some projects we were working on. We get really attached to our clients.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think that, like you were saying, residential design is so personal, and you really dive into, like, what makes that person tick.
Yeah.
And what is it that they're looking for. And so our first many projects actually were sort of just, we had transferred to a consultant role, but we were finalizing some projects for some clients that we really cared about, that we were invested in.
Yeah.
Up front, yeah. And then since then, we've had some repeat clients. We try to focus on houses, but we occasionally get asked to do small commercial projects here and there, and we can kind of filter through those as we like. Yeah.
So if I was to summarize what Kata by Design's business target would be, is the residential and not the commercial. But I did see remodel as well as the new build design. Because I saw just a recent post on one of your socials about, hey, we're going to do our site measure today, kickoff design.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
What is it that you guys want to do as a company?
We both like nature. And then even if house is built in a urban area, but we still want to, really be sensitive where the light is coming from. Where do you see trees, sky, and stuff like that? That it's not really a style of architecture, but it's our philosophy that we really want to capture those important ingredients, natural light, nature, and then so that people will feel very nurtured and then feel easy. It's kind of like a biophilia, but people love nature.
Yeah.
So we don't really want to confine the building with, cool stuff, but not really comfortable to live in.
So you want to design comfort, earthy, organic. Come on, help me out.
Authentic.
Authentic.
Something that we're, I really feel like when we approach a design, whether it's a new build or whether it's a remodel. I mean, I guess with a new build, there's these elements of like making sure that you're really analyzing the site well to like really pull from it all of the wonderful qualities that it might have, like really feature, and also to avoid some of its challenges.
Yeah.
So really looking at like how does the environment that this new building is going to exist in impact how we should design for this. It's sort of like three questions, like what can the site sort of handle? What's sort of appropriate for the site? What does the client want? And then like what's sort of the right thing to do in there, in that sort of like equation. Yeah. And then also like really trying to tap into like how can we make it so that you can live sort of this ordinary life well lived.
Yeah.
In that space. You know, it's not so much about like we do design luxury, but it's not to design luxury for the sake of luxury.
Yeah.
It's really just to try to pull meaning, to try to pull what's meaningful and what's good for that site, and design for that. And I think that that's what we want to do. It's not like we want to, you know, we don't have a particular, like we want to build this particular style of house.
Yeah.
For this particular client.
Not all art's the same, right? I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
not all music is the same. And so, but you can play a lot of different music, I bet. Right?
Yeah. And it's different every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every
Yeah.
project is unique.
Yeah. I mean, take it like what I do see from you guys is this artsy and creative, like there's not many architects that I know that have the background of the arts and kind of humanities that you guys have, and it shows. I'm like, when I first met you guys, I was like, wow, these are some really smart and intelligent women in architecture. You know, it's just like, and they're creative. They're, you know, the music, composing your own to your sculpture work. I mean, that's like you're taking all those influences. I think it's brilliant, and you put that into your architecture, and so I'm impressed. So looking at the stuff, even Ben, when he was looking at your website, he's like, that is the best architectural website he's seen so far.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
I mean, those are kudos to you
Nice.
guys. You
That's
guys,
nice. Thank you, Ben.
yeah. In everything that you guys do, you're coming out, and your design, I think, ethos is coming out, and so that's pretty cool. So I'm excited to be able to work with you guys someday, be able to, you know, put together one of your projects as a builder. So
Yeah, we
I'm
would be
looking
thrilled
forward.
to do the same.
Yeah. So I'm a potential client for you guys. Tell me the process that you're going to take me through with Kata by Design. From, okay, I want to build a new home. Kind of talk me through your philosophy. We kind of got a little picture of it, but kind of the functional steps of it.
So we do consultation meeting at first.
Yeah.
We go to the site and meet the client, and then learn about the scope of work.
Yeah.
And then we'll see if that's a good fit. You know, we want to see the chemistry between the client and us too. And then if that's a go, then we ask the client to send us favorite imagery.
Yeah.
That a lot of us, as many as possible, so we can learn the person and then what style the person likes. And it's really, we design per client, not like our style, but that for that person. And then, so those images are so important for us. Then after that, I do code study for the jurisdiction. Then going into schematic design, which is more architectural side.
Yeah.
We'll design, we bring a few options per meeting to see what they like. And then we have those meetings maybe 2 or 3 times to narrow down. And then when design's all set architecturally, then Tamara comes in for interior finishes. But she attends all the architectural meeting with me. So, and I explain why I'm doing this, what I'm visualizing, and then she listens to it. And then we really know what we think each other so well. And then, so from that point, she knows, she's kind of visualizing what interior would look good. And then, so then her interior design meeting starts after architecture's done.
Yeah, and so as Kay is sort of wrapping up the architectural components to like submit to building department, then I start to dive into the interior finishes and all the materials that we're going to use, and really, you know, and we have lots of client meetings, like
Yeah.
that, where we're really trying to like make sure that the clients are feeling invested. So we've had a few clients that don't maybe recognize like how much it is a lot of effort on
It
their
is.
part too.
Yeah.
For us to be able to really tailor a design for them, we need to have like a really close relationship with them for a period of time where we're
Getting to know them,
Yeah.
pulling out the things that you need from them, their
Yeah.
time commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can be a challenge.
Yeah,
but
it's some homework
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
client
Right.
too.
you're like, oh, just design me a house. No, you're in this too.
Yeah, we need their input
Yeah.
as much as anything. So it's very collaborative. And then, so during my interior design phase, I'm picking cabinets, countertops, tile, interior, all the interior finishes, lighting, plumbing. We can do furniture, but mostly it's the architectural, like built-in material finishes that we're picking on a regular basis for clients. And Kay is also paying attention the whole time while I'm working with the clients. So like we really are together understanding the project fully.
Because she probably put a wall where you don't want a wall for
Yeah.
your design.
Yeah, sometimes
Right.
I'm like, Kay, can you I need to have that, I need to move this, and I want the sink here, and so I need to move the window over so that it centers here or whatever.
Yeah.
Can you move this wall a little so that I can get a little more space for
Yeah.
something I'm envisioning over here? And so those two, we really feel like,
That-
architecture and interiors together.
That is a very nice recipe, because there's so many times that we have the architect and then the interior designer comes in and we're like permitted and engineered, and they're like, that window needs to move 8 inches. And we're like, okay, so we got to get with the engineer and all that. But if you can plan and design before that point, it is a nice recipe that you two have. So it's intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it's a lot more seamless
Yeah.
that way from start to finish. And if we can loop in a landscaper too,
Yeah.
then you can have the whole package. And we have landscapers that we like to work with too, so that you can really transition from the indoors to outdoors. Like so much of what we do focuses on like trying to have this connection to to nature, to outside. So that's another component that we like to try to loop in when we can.
Yeah. I went to a house yesterday, and there's some clients of ours in the past, and they did this amazing modern interior, right? I mean, it's beautiful. And then you walk outside, and it just doesn't fit. And they're like, we got to fix this. So now we're working on coming up with the outside plan, and how do we make it flow from inside to outside? And that's kind of the steps of a renovation, because you always can't do everything at once. But, on the new builds, it's all planned out at the same time. That's critical.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
Then we do permit, and then back and forth with the city.
Oh,
and
that's the unfun part of what you get to do. I've done it, so I know. Yeah.
And then we create construction documents for the builder.
Uh-huh.
And then we also get involved in this construction administration stage, because a lot of times there are so many interior questions,
Yes.
lighting and outlet location and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not like a regular meeting or anything, but we are always available
Yeah.
for any questions.
So from initial design, you guys, from the initial architectural meeting, the lot, the space, the views, the nature around it, capturing all that, you guys really have a recipe that answers all the questions and the support all the way through.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so it's finding those clients and projects that you guys that want that. Some people, we don't do it anymore, but they're like, I'm my own interior designer. We're like, oh, you might need to find another builder now, unless you're a professional designer. We've built a lot of projects for people they're professional designers. I mean, like 3 custom homes, and I'm like, it's kind of fun building a home with a designer, Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, because it's their passion, and we're like, oh, this is a lot of fun. But,
And there's just so much minutia that goes into it, right?
Yes.
Just like so many little details. Like,
Mhm.
I think a lot of people consider themselves interior designers because they do have an idea of what they like.
yeah.
But to put it all together and to make sure that the details work
we're like, we put the light where you said to put it. Wow, but now it doesn't look like I thought it would.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can move it.
Right.
You know, but
Right.
it's
That's
good
more
to-
expensive than drawing it. in
Yeah,
the first
having a
place.
good plan.
Yeah.
So,
But for the entire process, we usually try to connect with general contractor at early stage,
Yeah.
especially like my schematic design
Yeah.
stage. And then we want to make sure, we want to give them good design, but we want to make sure it's affordable.
yeah.
And then buildable.
Oh, it never
too.
is.
But it's important for us and client to get the initial pricing and stuff, buildability and all this stuff, so that we can move on the right track.
Yeah.
Then maybe when it designs a little bit in the midpoint, we may get another pricing,
Yeah.
just to make sure we're not way off.
Absolutely.
A lot of times design can be, way up high
Yeah.
because it's so fun to do more.
Yeah.
Or sometimes we have a design intent that we want to achieve, but the way we're designing it is going to be expensive. And
Yeah.
then if we have a builder on, if we have our full team,
Yeah.
including the builder on board, they can be like, oh, you can achieve this same sort of intent by, building it, detailing it this other way that will save us so much effort and
Yeah.
money on the other end. So we really like to have that whole team too. So if a client comes in and says, I want you to design something fully, and then I want to send it out to bid, we really don't
Yeah.
love to do it that way. We want to have the builder and everybody involved
Yeah.
up front.
So, tell me, what do you guys look for in a builder? Like, what makes a good building partner from an architect's perspective?
Good builder. Very good skill, but also builder, we look for honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's always worked so well when we try to solve problem together, not pointing finger at each other, but it's just we have no time for that. It's just try to solve problem both on our design side and from the construction side. And so
Yeah. Somebody who has patience and integrity.
Yeah.
Somebody who has good craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Somebody who has subs that they've worked with for a long time, that they're loyal to, that they have built their own little network of relationships with that are solid. Somebody who wants to be collaborative and
Yeah.
help us, and then also ask us to be involved during building,
Yeah.
to really work together all the way. Yeah.
Sitting here
those
as a
things.
builder, I always like to understand, from the client's perspective and then from an architect's perspective, what can I do better as a custom home builder, or how can I improve in the process of the build?
Yeah.
So I always like to ask that question. So, and then if there's somebody that's listening, they're like, what should I look for in a builder? What should I look for in an architect? What is the process? That's what this is.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
pretty cool. Thanks for listening to Built by Insights. Tune in next Friday to hear the second episode.